do y'all mind if we get right into this Tyler Perry stuff? We about 20 minutes in. Yeah, it's time. It's time to get into the Tyler Perry stuff. All right. Let me open up my assets. Okay. Let me open up my assets. Shout out to everybody for supporting. Please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Please share this live, if you will. Share this live, if you will. Let's pull up. We got the actual document. Okay. I'm going to right now. Before we even get into too deep, right? This is what I want to say. Let me make sure is the font big enough for everybody to read, first of all? Excuse me. Can everybody read the font? Is it? I don't know if the font is big enough for everybody to read. Can y'all see this? First of all, let me just say this, right? My opinion. It is a 0% chance that Tyler Perry does not have to pay this person. 0%. And I'm saying 0% because of what is being alleged, because of the type, because of where the lawsuit was filed, and because of the type of civil case it is. It involves workplace sexual harassment by the owner of one of the largest film studios in America. You are not going to be able to justify speaking to one of your employees in this manner. There's no way to fix it. Tyler Perry has been silent because he is probably trying to figure out how much to settle for. That's the only reason to be silent. He should not try to fight it. He should try to settle for far less than the person asked for in the lawsuit. Benny said, I'm so happy to see you. Had you set up on my notifications. I still missed you. I'm so sorry. When did you get back online? I got back online like a couple weeks ago. I think this is my third one back. Yep. So I appreciate the fact that you came through. All right. Let's get right into this. Now, the plaintiff's name is Derek Dixon, right? And this person is the plaintiff, and they are suing Tyler Perry, which I guess Tyler Perry's real name is Emmett Perry Jr., but let's just say Tyler Perry, right? The complaint, quid pro quo sexual harassment, work environment harassment, sexual harassment, the Ralph Act, workplace gender violence, violation of Bain Act, sexual battery, sexual assault, negligent retention, intentional infliction of emotional distress, retaliation. I think this is fair employment. So the FEHA is a fair employment thing, right? I think it's a California specific thing. Now, first of all, it was a genius move to file this in California and not in Georgia. Georgia, Tyler Perry is extremely powerful, probably knows all the judges, can make things disappear quickly and get cases thrown out type time. I'm not saying he could get this thrown out in Georgia, but his fight, California is much more friendly to victims of sexual assault crimes or sex crimes. California is like, if you get accused of a sex crime in California, the likelihood of you beating it or something, like you're gonna have a hard time. They got like everything under complaint. These are how many different like statutes protect that person and like back up the claims that this person is making to say what happened was a violation, even though most of it didn't happen in California, right? And we'll get to that because I have a theory there. Okay, let's jump right into this. Right. And this is for the people that's into like law and all this type of stuff. So let's get to it. Right. The plaintiff, Derek Dixon, files his complaint against defendant Tyler Perry, a.k.a. Emmett Perry Jr. and Tyler Perry's businesses. Right. The following complaint is pled on information and belief. The case arises from a sustained pattern of workplace sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation perpetrated by Tyler Perry, a powerful media mogul, against plaintiff Derek Dixon. Excuse me. A professional actor and screenwriter. Mr. Perry is an American actor, filmmaker, and playwright who has built one of the most successful careers in the film and TV industry. Mr. Perry took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitive dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him career advancement and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in the show, only to subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault, battery, and professional retaliation when Dixon didn't want to reciprocate the unwanted advances. So let's skim through a little bit because it's a lot and it's crazy. Tyler Perry, this is an important part. Tyler Perry's rise to fame and fortune elevated him from a powerless victim to a figure of tremendous wealth, influence, and power, culminating in the ownership of his own studio. Rather than using his influence responsibly, Tyler Perry engaged in a pattern of misconduct where he exploited his position of power. Cold work right there. There's some real Harvey Weinstein stuff going on. Tyler Perry has been using his power and influence to molest, abuse, and sexually assault impressionable and vulnerable employees and actors who look for him for guidance and mentorship while pursuing their dreams. And then look at Section 8. Just like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, and Roger Ailes, and many others in the industry, Mr. Perry's success led him to believe that money and influence could get him whatever he wants. That belief slowly transformed into the false idea that Mr. Perry can get whomever he wants. There are things in life that money can't buy, like Mr. Dixon's backside. That's what they're trying to say in this. Mr. Perry sought that one thing his wealth and influence could not purchase, a sexual relationship with a man who would remain silent. Perry told Mr. Dixon that his ideal relationship would involve a male sexual partner who he could provide for and who would be loyal but emotionally detached. Perry told Dixon, whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy MFer. In essence, Mr. Perry desired a one-sided coercive dynamic with a subordinate, an arrangement devoid of mutual consent or emotional reciprocity. Thus began Perry's calculated pursuit of Dixon. They really set this thing up like a novel, for real. And not to say that, you know what I'm saying, that's not to dismiss or diminish anything this person felt in these situations. I'm just saying that the way that paragraph reads or the last couple paragraphs is very novel-like. Right, like they're describing a villain of some sort. I guess if you're a sexual deviant, you are kind of a villain. This was not Mr. Perry's first instance of sexual exploitation. He has demonstrated a troubling pattern of exploiting vulnerable male actors and employees, leveraging his industry power to create a cycle of hope and dependency. First, he offers aspiring actors the prospect of career-defining opportunities, roles that promise visibility and advancement. Then once they're in his professional orbit, he uses the weight of his influence to ensnare them, positioning their success as contingent on meeting his demands in a quid pro quo sexual compromise, right? This pattern of behavior reveals a calculated use of professional power for sexual leverage. A quid pro quo sexual compromise is like the whole, what they said in the intro. The quid pro quo sexual harassment is essentially meaning, it's kind of like implicit sexual harassment, right? Pretty much saying that, this person is in power. They're not telling you that you got to have sex to do things, but they're just letting you know, I'm going to give you a job and I also want to have sex with you, right? So that's what that whole thing is about, right? It's kind of like implied. This is implied that I have to do this for this work. The pattern of behavior reveals a calculated use of professional power for sexual leverage, right? So that's pretty much that's the explanation. Let's skim forward a little bit. In one such exchange, Perry stated that he could fix things because the actors of a show he was filming should all be scared because they were all shot. And we don't know who lives, meaning that Tyler Perry was going to use this as a tool to gain compliance with his desires. Derek Dixon was Mr. Perry's sexual desire ever since they became acquainted. Dixon was working as part of an event staff for a party hosted by Perry. When Perry noticed him, Perry immediately offered Dixon a chance to audition for a part in one of his TV productions. So this little screenshot thing, I don't know if y'all can see it, but if you watch it on the TV, you can definitely see it. It says, "But I swear to you, I know how to fix this ish. I love killing an MFer in a show that no one expects." The gray text is all Tyler Perry. The blue is Dixon. "You should be sipping Mai Tais counting coconuts right now." So clearly, Dixon is cutting out parts of whatever he was saying before that, right? Cutting out parts and hiding things. Think about the last episode. They are all shot at. We don't know who lives. Dixon says, exactly. I am scared. They should be too. Dixon says, nope, they're not. Perry said, nope, they're not. Dixon said, last I checked, we all got the same bullets in us. Okay, frivolous, but he's just letting it be known. I do this. Derek Dixon was Mr. Perry's sexual desire. Okay, I read that already. Dixon agreed and was on set with Tyler Perry behind the camera for weeks in close quarters during the time where they were filming. Perry would send flirtatious text messages to Dixon. For example, in one message, Perry stated that he was jealous when he saw Dixon going on a walk with another man named Brad. Tyler Perry is in black and Dixon is in blue, right? He said, why did that photo make me jealous? You two together. Dixon said, ha ha, I don't know. It's just Brad. He put LOL with the period. Tyler Perry, he was pissed. Dixon said he just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in. And now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself. This is the most egregious part of this whole thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. Thick Derek. That part right there, I was like, okay, this nigga's a deviant. Like he told that white boy he was thick. He said, go get that Chipotle. Like pretty much on some like, go get thicker. Like is that like to me that part just I'm like okay yeah he gonna have to pay for this one. He gonna have to pay for his crimes against humanity. Like calling this man thick is just what are we talking about, right? That one threw me off all the way. And he said some crazy stuff in here, but for whatever reason the thick Derek part just was like I'm like oh nah, give him some money, give me some money because I had to read it. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I feel. In another text message, Perry stated to Dixon, what is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? He putting the pressure on. He going crazy. What is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have you found that yet in therapy? You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. Like pressing somebody to like give up what they talking about with religion to have sex with you, boy, you's a deviant. Plaintiff carefully navigated a friendly demeanor to prevent the loss of income and opportunity on the one hand, and the other, a firm boundary against Perry's advances. Often, when Mr. Perry started drinking, he would demand more attention from the plaintiff and get more aggressive with his flirt. Let's read these texts real quick. Perry is on the left and Dixon is on the right. What is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? Like my man wants Dixon to talk to his therapist about letting him smash. It's crazy. Yes, it's the exact same kind of car, Geo Metro. Okay. Dixon said, giving up my religious guilt, becoming a Buddhist, that's so cool. Where you came from. He said, unfortunately, Derek, I have friends who are in their 50s and 60s who are still dealing with that, and it's so sad. You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. All right. On one occasion, Mr. Perry was drinking. He started to become extremely annoyed when Mr. Dixon avoided him. Mr. Perry stated that of 600 people in his phone book, he only wanted to talk to Mr. Dixon. All right, there's the message. Treat myself. So he was pretty much just harassing him, whatever. Dude said, yo, I'm just talking to my sister. TP, he wasn't feeling it. He said, I'll go through the 600 people in my phone book and be annoyed that I don't want to talk to any of them. Right? So he was really pressing and dude wasn't going for it. Like you rich, you got everything, and you can't even get your gay on properly because you gotta get your gay on with people that don't want to be gay, or I don't know if you don't want to be gay or he just don't like you, but this got to be a real tough one for Tyler Perry to deal with. Like, why can't my money and power get this man to do what I'm telling him to do? Like, he is really bothering him. Dixon did his best to tiptoe around Mr. Perry's sexual aggression while keeping on Mr. Perry's good side. Mr. Perry made it clear to Dixon that if Dixon ignored Perry or failed to engage with his sexual innuendos, Dixon's character would die in the next season. Indeed, Dixon's character Dale was shot 4 times in the chest at the end of the first season of The Oval, and Perry always held this over Mr. Dixon's head, implying that Dale would survive if Dixon kept Perry happy. They didn't, there's no messages to back up that part. Once Perry recognized the extent of control he had over Mr. Dixon, he escalated the behavior. On multiple occasions, Mr. Perry sexually assaulted Mr. Dixon, including one instance where this one was confusing to me, right? He forcibly pulled off Mr. Dixon's clothing, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself on Dixon. Mr. Dixon told a drunken Perry no and attempted to remove Mr. Perry's hands, but Mr. Perry held tightly onto Dixon's wrist. Mr. Dixon was able to escape after de-escalating the situation by abruptly changing the subject. All right, this is what confused me. Somebody is in full-blown Fleece Johnson mode, right? And somehow you talking about something different made him stop doing that. So you telling him no, you trying to pull away from him, that didn't stop him. But you changing the subject abruptly, which I don't even know what was the subject in the first place for you to say, oh, I changed the subject and that got him up off me. So that's a little bit weird to me that was the description of that event. And I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I'm just saying like that's just a strange description of an event. So it's like, oh, we about to have sex. Hey, the sky is blue today, ain't it? Oh, okay, let me leave you alone. Like I don't understand that part. Yeah, somebody got to help me with that one. Okay, and I'm sure that y'all are commenting right now, but I can't. I'm looking at this PDF, so I'll see y'all comments when I finish. The day after the assault, Mr. Perry called and texted Dixon relentlessly saying, "Tried you, call me. I really need to talk to you. Please call me as soon as you can." Finally, when Mr. Dixon answered Tyler Perry's call, Mr. Perry profusely apologized for the sexual assault while blaming it on other things. Perry continued. Now, here's the difference between like male victims and women victims. That next call, like if you're dealing with a person at the stature of Tyler Perry, that first time y'all got on the phone, everything should have been recorded. Actually, every time that you was around this person from then on, every conversation would have been vocally recorded if this was a woman in this situation, right? But he's a man, so he's new to the sex assault victim game, right? So he didn't record it because you should have recorded that apology instead of you trying to anyway. I really need to talk to you. Please call as soon as you can. Finally, when Mr. Dixon answered Tyler Perry's call, Mr. Perry profusely apologized for the sexual assault while blaming other things. Perry continued. He didn't know why he would do that. Maybe he was self-sabotaging. On the very same call where he apologized for the sexual assault against Dixon, Perry told Dixon, and don't worry, we're going to do your show, referring to the pilot that Perry knew Mr. Dixon had desperately wanted to produce. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Dixon got a call from Perry's lawyer saying that Christmas had come early and that Dixon was getting a substantial raise and the show was greenlit. Perry's attorney explicitly warned Dixon not to tell any other actor on the show about Dixon's raise because no other actors were getting a raise, only Dixon. Perry kept telling Dixon that he was sorry and the harassment would not happen again. However, the harassment and assaults continued. Mr. Perry would also try to deflect the blame for the assault by saying that Dixon didn't have a strong enough no. This is also a crazy part of this whole thing. Perry told Dixon that you have to be able to say no to propositions for sex and mean it and make it clear. Meaning like he was trying to say, yo, you said no, but I couldn't really tell that you meant no. Like on some, he was victim blaming. Dixon did not know how to answer without facing retaliation, cancellations of his production contact. I'm guessing it says it's supposed to be contract, but that says production contact, and perhaps being killed off the show. So instead, Dixon made a joke out of the situation, stating that I'll only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. Let's read the text messages. So Dixon moved out to Santa Monica supposedly to escape from Tyler Perry, right? So Tyler Perry is like, nice. Santa Monica is nice. I'm glad you're going out there. How is your no? Is it stronger? Meaning like when you told me no, it wasn't that strong. So I kept on going. You got to have a strong no. Dixon said, yes, it's strong. My mom literally thinks I'm going to sell my soul to the Illuminati. She heard Kanye say that it's real. Perry said, well, I don't think that, but I do think that you have to be able to say no and mean it and make it clear. He said, I'll only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. JK, 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 I hear you. He said, well, the only one who could have gotten that for you through sex is in prison. So just stick to the no unless you're really into him. And then he used the wild gay emoji right there. Like, that's just a gay emoji. I don't even know what to call it. I just know it's gay. Dixon did not know how to answer with, okay, let's see. In response, Tyler Perry stated, the only one who, okay, we read that. Perry reveals through these messages, no, he was referring, okay. So then we get into the section where it lists the parties, right? And the parties are pretty much just explaining who the defendant is, who the plaintiff is, right? And even in this section right here, the plaintiff is establishing, I don't really know the name of his businesses and official business names, right? I'm only telling the common names that the public knows. And when we get like real documentation on what his businesses are called, we will update this lawsuit, this filing, right? So that's what this parties thing is just really saying. It's like they have so many businesses, we don't really know all of them. So we'll get back to y'all on what his exact business name is. Now, here's the part that I think is very interesting. Venue and jurisdiction. And we're going to get into that because I got a link to pull up. Oh, shit. Venue and jurisdiction. This court has personal jurisdiction over all defendants because they have purposely availed this. Now, this is venue and jurisdiction. This is not the court saying this. This is the plaintiff's lawyer saying why they feel that they can file this lawsuit in this area, in this state, in this courthouse. And they're saying that the court has personal jurisdiction over all defendants because they have purposely availed themselves, are residents of the state, and or conduct business in California. And this lawsuit arises out of acts that occurred in California and relates to the contacts with California. Further, the vast pattern of abuse, including sexual assault, harassment, inappropriate, in addition to wielding control and power over a plaintiff, was consistently present when defendant Perry engaged in most recent acts described herein. The location of all events herein alleged occurred within the jurisdiction of California. The plaintiff was harmed and injured in California by defendants. The California Superior Court also has jurisdiction in this matter because the individual monetary damages and restitution sought herein exceeded the minimum jurisdiction limits of the Superior Court and will be established at trial according to proof. The venue is proper in Los Angeles County pursuant to these things, in that liability arose there because at least some of the transactions that are the subject matter of this complaint occurred therein, and each defendant either is found, maintains offices, transacts businesses, and or has an agent therein. Excuse me. This action is also timely under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act. California Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act, amended California. Okay, all right. Pretty much saying y'all have the right to pursue this case or to let us pursue this case in your courthouse. They're saying Dixon was a resident of California from January 2023 through the end of the relevant time period, and the sexual assault and harassment of Perry continued and extended into the relevant time period where Dixon was a resident of and working from California for Perry. Mr. Perry also resided in California. Much of the harm caused by the sexual assaults occurred in California. On behalf of defendant, Tyler Perry has engaged, on information and belief, Defendant Tyler Perry has engaged in similar sexual acts from California. California has strong interest in allowing its residents to recover injuries sustained. All right, I'm reading factual allegations. So even that first section wasn't even considered the factual allegation. But let me read something real quick, though, before I go forward. I want to read about understanding venue and jurisdiction. Okay. So what we're looking at here is understanding the difference between jurisdiction and venue, right? And we want to understand those things because they matter a lot here, specifically in this case. And I want to talk about it. All right. Uh-oh. What's that? Okay, understanding the difference. All right, let's get to this, right? Unraveling the concepts. All right, we're going to look at a real, just brief, the legal authority of courts. Jurisdiction defined. Jurisdiction refers to the authority of a court over individuals or entities entangled in litigation within a specific judicial district. It defines who the court can summon into its legal purview. For instance, if you live in California but get sued in New York, the New York court would need to have personal jurisdiction over you. Subject matter jurisdiction, meanwhile, pertains to the court's authority to adjudicate cases of a specific nature like those related to family law or criminal matters. It demonstrates the court's specialized knowledge in handling certain types of cases. Some courts, like the U.S. Court of International Trade, specialize in specific issues, in this case, issues related to international trade. Now, venue. Geographical considerations. Let's understand venue. The venue refers to the specific county within a state where a lawsuit is initiated. Generally, it depends on the defendant's residence, place of business, or the location of the dispute. It illustrates the court's geographical limitations for hearing cases. For example, if a car accident occurred in Los Angeles, the lawsuit will likely be filed in Los Angeles County. However, there can be scenarios where multiple venues are proper for filing a lawsuit, such as when different parties involved live in different counties or the incident occurred in a different location. In such cases, the plaintiff or their attorney have to make a strategic decision about where to file the lawsuit, taking into account local laws in the specific type of case. Why do I think that's important? The reason I think that's important is because, to me, this is Tyler Perry's only fight in this case. His only fight against the lawsuit that has been filed is to say, have his lawyers fight and say, that is not the right jurisdiction and venue for this case. This should be in Georgia. This should be in Fulton County, Georgia, or they're in Fulton County. Tyler Perry Studios in Fulton County. To me, I believe that is the only way to. Now, I'm not saying that he will get out of having to pay this money, but that's the only way they'll get out of dealing with this in California, where they have a bunch of laws that support victims just like Derek Dixon. Right? I believe Tyler Perry should have his lawyer attack that venue. Tyler Perry should have that venue and jurisdiction attacked hard, right? It should be stated, hey, this stuff started in 2019. Our relationship, whatever you want to call it, started in 2019. The majority of these messages happened. I was in Georgia when it was happening. The victim might have been in California for some of it. But if this stuff started in 2019 and that person didn't move to California until 2023, that means the vast majority of it happened at Tyler Perry Studios or around it in Georgia. So again, I think that is the fight. That's the only fight. It might have to get moved to another venue, but this person is still gonna have to pay out. But that is, to me, where Tyler Perry's lawyers need to focus all of their energy. It needs to be focused on jurisdiction and venue. Now, of course, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just going based off what I understand to be jurisdiction and venue, right? And this is a civil matter, so you can argue with anything. You know what I'm saying? You're not dealing with any criminality at this point, so you can really get real. You can get really into the theory of this whole law thing, right? And that's one of them. Technically, I violated you in Georgia, and I really didn't do anything while in California. I have businesses there, but I didn't do anything to you there, right? I had a situation. I got a car accident, right? And the car accident happened in Fulton County. It was like downtown, midtown, like on 75, 85 connector going north. And a lady had hit me. This is 2015. A lady hit me. And then, like, you know what I'm saying, I never sued nobody for anything. So when the lawyers went and filed the paperwork and all that, they filed it where she lived at, in the county she lived in, Coweta County, right? So I was like, dang, I thought they were supposed to do it like where either where I live or where the accident happened at. But I was mistaken. I didn't understand that. So they filed it where the lady lived at. So I'm interested to see how and Tyler Perry, if you do end up watching this, I still think that you are a filthy animal for this. But I definitely think that you have some type of fight here when it comes to the jurisdiction and venue. All right? Okay. That's just what I think. There are much more egregious messages, though. Let's get to them. Okay, let me see. Factual allegations. We can just so they pretty much, in this section right here, they're just showing like how it seems that Dixon was set up from the beginning by his boss at the event company. His boss at the event company was Tyler Perry's friend. And he was pretty much handpicked by the friend of Tyler Perry to work at this event that Tyler Perry was throwing an event to open up his new studio in Atlanta, right, some years ago. And this guy Dixon was handpicked to work, like, host the event. And then when they got to the event, he was working directly with Tyler Perry. Like, they was talking all through the whole night. Tyler Perry immediately ran up on him, and they exchanged phone numbers and stuff, right? So it seems like he was set up from the beginning to be like some little, sex object or one of his little secret boyfriends or something. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I gotta read some of these filthy. I do want. I want to read every single word, but I do want y'all to get your hands on this. I'll make it available to anybody who wants a copy. But there's some crazy stuff in here, right? Okay, so after they met or whatever, shortly after, Dixon's boss at Legendary Events called Dixon and told him that Tyler Perry was having another event in Los Angeles. So boom, there you go. So they're getting into the California of it all. In Los Angeles, and specifically wanted Mr. Dixon to fly from Atlanta to LA to work the event. Excuse me. Excited for the opportunity to fly to LA, Dixon was flattered and jumped on the opportunity to meet Tyler Perry again. Shortly after the event, November 3rd, 2019, defendant Perry sent plaintiff several text messages that he would love to find him a job, change his life, insisting that they could make it happen. Perry sent Dixon what turned out to be an ominous warning. Be careful hanging around me. I cause dreams to be bigger. I cause them to not only believe, but do. Let's make it happen. You're an artist. You have been fulfilled. Nothing else will suffice. The very next day, defendant Perry sent an email which contained an offer for plaintiff to play the role Dale in Ruthless. Perry said it was a small role that could get a lot bigger, thereby setting up the first stages in a series of escalating quid pro quo offers. You do for me, I'll do for you. At this point, Dixon did not know Perry was interested in men or that he was looking for a sexual relationship. Dixon assumed Tyler Perry was genuinely a caring person who discovered the talent that Dixon always felt he had. That's crazy because Dixon, you ain't even do nothing. You ain't even show no talent. So why you thought that he saw some talent in you? It's kind of crazy. You was like serving people at an event, at a party. Dixon filmed his role in Ruthless in mid-November and went back to his job as an event staff for Legendary Events. Approximately 1 month later, Perry bought Dave and gave Dixon a new car. Bought and gave Dixon a new car because he hated Dixon's Jeep. Dixon was surprised and elated. Dixon had no idea that he was being set up by Perry for extreme dependence. In December 2019, Dixon was requested to be part of the event staff at another event at Tyler Perry's home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Okay. After that event, now I'm reading some of this for the first time now. This is getting out of hand. After that event, Perry started frequently sending text messages, making phone calls, and demanding that Dixon give Perry some attention. On New Year's Eve 2019, Perry texts Dixon, I can't tell you the last time I pumped gas or went to the supermarket or fly commercial or packed a bag or had good sex. It was before I was rich. Dixon found these messages to be strange and untowardly coming from someone like Tyler Perry. But being new to the industry, Dixon played along by downplaying the sexual comments and hoping that being around Perry would allow him to showcase his talents as an actor and writer. Soon after Dixon began giving Perry more attention, Perry made his move on Dixon. In January of 2020, just a few months after his first acting gig, Perry invited plaintiff to his home in Douglasville, Georgia. It's not too far from where I'm at right now. Plaintiff showed up to the home hoping that he would be given a chance to befriend Perry and show him how talented an actor Dixon was. At Perry's home, Dixon was served many alcoholic drinks, which Perry also partook in. Dixon felt that Perry was genuinely interested in Dixon's talent as an actor and writer. Perry made no sexual advances at Dixon while they were drinking, and the conversation was friendly. At the end of the night, this is where it get real creeped out. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon not to drive home. Perry said it was dangerous and that Dixon was too inebriated to drive home. Dixon agreed and was escorted to a separate guest room, not knowing that this was his ruse to allow Perry to assault Dixon. Dixon was tired and did not have pajamas, so he got into bed only wearing underwear. Before he knew what was happening, Dixon felt someone slip into the bed behind him and start rubbing Dixon's body around his inner thigh in a highly sexual and suggestive manner. You filthy animal, you. Dixon turned around and saw Tyler Perry was in bed with him. At this point, Dixon's stomach started to turn and he began feeling nauseous. Instinctively jumped up out of bed and told Perry that he wasn't that sexual. Tyler Perry ignored the comments and told Dixon to turn around so Perry could see him naked in his underwear. Real deviant shit. Perry then commented on how beautiful Dixon's body was. Dixon once again told Perry that he was not into sex. Dixon kept informing Perry that he was not into sex in order to keep Perry at bay, while at the same time not insulting the person that was dangling his career in front of him. In response to Dixon's frequent assertions that Dixon was not into sex, Perry started prying further. Perry would send Dixon a text message saying, "I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me. I hope you get past that block in your mind soon." He was real aggressive. He was very aggressive. This is the message. We just read it. And Dixon said, "Well, it's not this person, but yes, I want to. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping." So that was back in 2020, right? That was back in 2020. After that assault in January, Dixon felt betrayed. Perry continued to call or text Dixon every day asking to talk to him more. Dixon ignored Perry, which led Perry to text him, "Derek, why don't you text me more?" Now, remember I said the right venue and jurisdiction seemed to be Georgia. This assault that they just described was in Douglasville, Georgia, right? Even when they brought up going to Los Angeles, nothing happened in Los Angeles, right? Not any crimes, I'm saying. He didn't commit any crimes against the man in L.A. The more Dixon ignored Perry, the more aggressive Perry became, until finally Perry offered Dixon a part in a new show called The Oval. Dixon was intrigued and was hoping that this would be his big break that he was looking for and a chance for him to display his acting talent. On February 11, 2020, Perry told Dixon to quit his job at Legendary Events and come work exclusively for Perry. Perry was not able to control Dixon as long as Dixon had a secondary income that was providing his basic needs. Once Dixon quit his job due to a role on The Oval, Perry started getting more and more personal with Dixon, knowing that Dixon was now under his control. Perry would often say things like, "I give and I give and give, and no one does anything for me in return. No one ever gives me what I want or what I need," implying that Dixon was not giving him sex. Just very... Perry started asking Dixon about Dixon's sexual preferences and what role Dixon took on when engaging in sexual acts, whether he was a top or a bottom, which in sexual terms means Dixon prefers to give or receive anal sex. Perry further indicated to Dixon that he had sex with men before and that he was a top. My lips getting wild dry. Perry further told Dixon that when you have a big D word and when you hit the G spot right on these bottoms, they go crazy. Like, come on, man. Like, what we doing here, Tyler Perry? What are we doing here? Hold on. Like, this is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, from now on, all of Tyler Perry's movies and shows should be on Zeus. I'm going to say all of Tyler Perry's shows and movies should be on Zeus Network. Lemmy, call Tyler. He's ready for you. He telling this white man in text message, he don't even care that there's like all this documented proof. Oh, my bad, y'all. I'm because I haven't been eating dinner, my lips wild dry. He told this man, he asked him, "Yo, is you a top or a bottom? What's cracking?" He said, "I'm a top. When you have a big meat and you hit the G spot right on these bottoms, they go crazy." Like, what? Come on, man. Perry further told, like for real, no, I'm dead serious. Like, the next movie, Straw 2, should be on Zeus. Honestly, Straw 2 go straight to Zeus. Perry further told plaintiff that he wanted a man who was in a relationship with another individual, but with whom he could be emotionally involved and engage in sexual acts with, like a friend with benefits relationship, because Perry did not have the time to deal with an emotional aspect of relationship, only the physical. See, your problem is you should have hit Diddy up and asked him for some of his prostitutes. What it seems to me is Tyler Perry wants dudes who are not gay, but to be gay with him. That's what to me, that's what I'm reading here. Like, he's trying to pressure somebody to be gay. That's what it seems like. So he wants, wait. Okay. It's very odd. So despite these comments, Dixon knew that this is just crazy wording. Like Dixon knew that a full-throated refusal, like why they could have worded that different in a lawsuit like this. You understand? Refusal would land him in the doghouse and might result in a role being cut on the Oval. Fearing that his career would end before it began, Dixon put up with these comments and continued to maintain that he was not the sexual type. By the way, This is also 3 years before he moved to California. So all of these crimes and all of this, they're not crimes, but all of these acts this happened in Georgia for 4 to 5 years. So yeah, man, Tyler Perry, your fight is venue and jurisdiction. I keep saying that. I'm gonna keep saying it. On or around March of 20, that's if you don't plan on settling. I would imagine that you would want to settle this and get this over with. But once you settle, you know the floodgates is gonna open up. On or around March 2020, Dixon received a script for the Oval. He was written in as a season regular and was therefore expected to quit his job with Legendary Events. Dixon's character was written as gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, his character would be shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon felt this was a way for Perry to test out Dixon for a year and see if he would be loyal to Perry. When Dixon asked Perry about the shooting, Perry indicated that if Dixon did a good job, Dixon would be back, and that a shooting didn't necessarily mean that Dixon's character was out of the script for future seasons. Perry commented that Dixon's character was only shot in the chest, not in the head, as if chest shots don't kill people. But look, here's the thing, right? Let me keep reading. Dixon immediately understood that his job security depended on his relationship with Perry. From this point on, Dixon worked with the constant fear of losing his job if he did not engage with and endure Perry's sexual harassment. Shortly after giving Dixon the news and telling him after telling Dixon that future seasons were dependent on Dixon doing a quote-unquote good job, Tyler Perry invited Dixon to his home in Atlanta, also not in California, jurisdiction and venue. Plaintiff asked questions and tried to wiggle his way out of the invitation because he remembered what happened the last time the two were alone. However, plaintiff knew that his job security, income, and livelihood depended on his attendance. Plaintiff had seen other employees of Tyler who had experienced sudden deaths on the show when they fell on Perry's bad side. In fact, Perry had made it clear to Dixon that he would often kill characters in order to get the actor to be loyal or obedient. When Dixon arrived at the house, Tyler Perry gave Dixon a warm welcome and was very friendly. Soon after, Tyler Perry started asking Dixon a slew of sexually charged questions, even asking Dixon if he liked it rough in bed. Perry then physically reached out and violently grabbed Dixon's throat, attempting to physically choke Dixon, and remarked, "Wow, look how excited you just got. You do like that." Dixon was horrified, shocked, and in panic. Dixon never thought that Tyler Perry would get so violent and would place his hands on Dixon's throat in a sexually aggressive manner. Dixon did not enjoy or consent to any of this conduct. Dixon was in shock and took steps to immediately de-escalate the situation. Due to the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020, filming for The Office was postponed indefinitely. Oh, is that what canceled that show? COVID? I didn't even realize that. During the period in which filming for The Oval was postponed, Tyler Perry would make FaceTime calls and other contacts to Dixon almost every day, treating Dixon as his on-call pet. Dixon felt obligated to answer for fear of losing his role, income, and career. Perry often asked Dixon about his whereabouts. Okay, no typo, lawyer. Often demanding that Dixon respond immediately. When he didn't, Perry would send messages to Dixon stating, "Derek, grr, and what are you doing?" He's really Madea for real. So Tyler Perry, like who we know as Tyler Perry, is his alter ego. Madea is who he really is. Let's think about that. Additionally, Perry was jealous of anyone who Dixon had a relationship with. Tyler Perry told Dixon that if he got COVID-19 from his roommate at the time, Dixon would not be able to shoot The Oval. Perry encouraged Dixon to move into one of the on-set studio houses owned by Perry, where Perry would have more control over Dixon's whereabouts. Thereafter, Perry would text plaintiff about other actors on the show Ruthless. Perry told Dixon how he manipulated employees through ruthless retaliation. Perry told Dixon that if he did not like the way an actor behaved or the way an actor was acting, the character would simply die in season 2. Dixon understood that Perry was informing Dixon to be cautious about disappointing or upsetting Perry. As a result, Dixon continued to put up with Perry's suggestive messages and sexual advances while doing his best to protect himself by taking notes and amassing evidence of the sexual harassment. He definitely got a bunch of evidence. Now, one thing that I'm like, that the vibe I'm getting is that I don't want to say, like, I'm not, they're leaving something out of this. Now, I'm not saying that all of this stuff didn't happen, but more happened that they're not telling us about. This is what I'm saying. There's other parts of this that definitely happened that they are definitely leaving out. And what I'm really like getting at is that they did something together. You understand? They did something. This lasted for 5 years or more. So am I to believe that Tyler Perry just kept texting you, asking you for sex for 5 years and never got it? That's not impossible. But am I to believe that you just kept getting acting roles all the way up until you moved to California 4 years after this stuff started and y'all never did anything? Am I to believe that? Am I to believe this man got into bed with you while you was naked at the beginning of y'all meeting and then you kept on going over there and y'all never did anything? Not victim blaming, just asking. Am I supposed to believe that? I don't know. I feel like though if you're gonna do this, right? Because what Tyler Perry is doing was wrong completely. You could be real about what it really was. You don't have to, you could tell the whole story and he would still have to pay you. Whether any part of it was consensual, the parts that were not consensual, he would still have to pay for that. You see what I'm saying? So to me, what the feeling I'm getting is that things are being left out. That kind of questions your credibility, even if the rest of this stuff is true. You just got to put it out there. Like, yeah, we was doing certain stuff, but then there was other times when I didn't want to do it and he was still trying to pressure me into do it. Like like you kind of got to give it up because some of this stuff, some of the jumps through these stories don't make any sense at all to me. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying that like, I'm not saying he couldn't have chased this man for this long without getting anything from him, but I don't know if I believe that. You know what I'm saying? In one conversation in or around April 2020, Perry told Dixon that Perry imagined Dixon prancing around in a cowboy outfit and that Perry did things to Dixon that he couldn't talk with Dixon about any further because they were so wrong. In or around April 2020, and while Dixon was living in the studio homes, so this is another, so you really did take his advice and move into a house on his studio lot? Like, where's Dixon's parents? Is Dixon an orphan? He don't have any parents. Like, he's so detached from his own family that he didn't feel like, no, we're not gonna do that. Perry often coerced Dixon to drink alcohol and then get on the phone with Perry. Perry would frequently have someone drop off alcohol at Dixon's door. Perry would eventually turn those phone calls into sexually explicit rants. Perry would get frustrated with Dixon and tell Dixon that he was not giving Perry what he needs. Dixon's refusal to succumb to Perry's sexual advances caused Perry to be even more frustrated. Now, by the way, this right here, this what they're describing in this paragraph, is like, oh shit, it's like 6 months after they met. What in the? This is like they met in like end of October 2019. This is only 6 months later, and they saying Tyler Perry is already pissed off, right? So we are supposed to believe that he continued the cat and mouse game with you for another 4 years and didn't get nothing. Let's keep going. Eventually, Perry warned Dixon that if Dixon told his castmates about the harassment, Dixon will be opening himself up to lots of questions and foolishness, and demanded that Dixon not discuss any of their conversations with his castmates. Oh, he sent a long message right there. Perry upped the stakes by telling Dixon point blank that he was not to tell anybody about their friendship, quote unquote. Perry told Dixon that it should all remain a secret and tried to make it seem like this was secret for Dixon's benefit. Perry continued to sexually harass Dixon. On June 27, 2020, Perry texted Dixon, defendant Perry texted Dixon that all he wanted for his birthday were biscuits and BJs. Oh, holy moly. Biscuits and BJs? This nigga's a deviant. Sick. Referring to blowjobs and oral sex. That's not all he was referring. Biscuits means his butt. And BJ's, oh boy. But that all Perry ever received were biscuits insinuated a request for oral sex from Dixon. Wait, what? The text was followed by other messages calling Dixon cute, cutie, and that Perry was just thinking about Dixon. Boy, was a real deviant. Let me read the messages now. In the gray is Tyler Perry, and in the blue is Dude Dixon. Listen to me. If you let the cast know, okay, this is all of that type of stuff. Okay. You earned your spot like everyone else. Don't give people an opportunity to play you small or they will. I can't teach you everything. Unfortunately, there are some things you'll have to learn for yourself. Because when we go back to work, I don't know you. I'm not going to know you. I don't have any friends that work for me, my friend. Professionalism is key. Dixon said, you're totally right. He said, I hope you got it, my friend. That makes total sense. Just watch the behavior of everyone around me on set. Yeah, I will. Don't want me to give anyone that opportunity because work is work. Okay. In July 2020, Perry remarked about how much he loved the script for Dixon's television series called Losing It and claimed that he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Perry would never really work toward that goal, and what Perry was really doing was making Dixon more dependent on Perry so that Perry could later extract sexual favors from Dixon as a quid pro quo to produce the pilot. In or around August 2020, Dixon and his castmates began shooting for the Oval after delays due to COVID-19 pandemic, during which time all castmates and crews lived on the studio set in a quarantine bubble. So ain't no telling how many of them actors he was knocking down on that studio lot. Shortly after, Perry confided in Dixon that two cast members were pissing him off and that Perry swore that he knew how to fix this shit. Perry added that he loves killing an MFer on the show and that no one expects that he's going to shoot them all shot, okay? Okay. Let me skip through some of this now. In July 2020, Perry read the script of Dixon's pilot and told Dixon that he loved the show so much he wanted to shoot for the pilot. Dixon did not know that Perry never intended on shooting the show. Perry knew that he could use the motivation of shooting Mr. Dixon's show to get Dixon to do what he had been resisting for many months, which was to give Perry the sexual gratification Perry so craved. Once the stage was set, Perry knew he could get away with sexual harassment. During the filming of The Oval in 2020, Perry engaged in severe and pervasive tirade of sexual commentary, including, but not limited to, that Dixon liked being choked. Why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day of Dixon? Oh, he was real freaked out. When will you be thick again? Jesus. I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the person who flirts with me. I've been trying to put that energy somewhere else, but everything is sexual on this stuff. That snake across the table made me think of a photo of Nicki Minaj from the music. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I will gladly choke you right now. Okay. A suggestion that Dixon should get braces behind his teeth, but the plaintiff would have to give up BJ's, and that could be dangerous for Dixon's partner, especially if they're not circumcised. That's when you were thick, Derek, fun Derek, drunk Derek, before COVID Derek. I miss him, just without a butt. What? Thick Derek would have worked them pants out. What's wrong? What's wrong with Tyler Perry, man? What's wrong with him? Hold on, man. I'm just like, something is really wrong with this person. Perry also photographed. By the way, this is my first time seeing this, so I'm just like laughing at because I didn't read this far into it. This is too much. Perry also photographed Dixon's buttocks while on set and sending pictures to Dixon. Two texts of many show that Perry was jealous of seeing Dixon with other men and that Perry Excuse me, y'all. Let me see what's going on right here. Oh. Okay. All right. Thick there, get the whole. Okay. Let me get through this, man. This thing is a sicko. I ain't gonna lie to you. Perry would also share intimate details of his own sex life with Dixon. Among other things, Perry would tell Dixon that he had not had good sex since he became rich, and that there were certain times where he had not been touched in months. On the second day of shooting for the Oval, Dixon filmed filmed the episode where his character was shot 4 times, indicating a seeming end of his role on the show and his termination from the job. It was precisely following the day of filming when Tyler Perry knew that Dixon's character's fate was to be decided that Perry invited Dixon to his trailer for drinks. Dixon knew that refusing meant the end of his career, so he accepted. It was there on the very same day that Perry dialed up the harassment to a new level. Tyler Perry asked Derek Dixon point blank, "Are you attracted to me?" and then demanded that Dixon answer. Plaintiff reiterated the same way he did after the first assault by skirting the question. Dixon told Perry that Dixon wasn't that sexual or looking for anything. Perry's incessant probing did not stop. Perry continued to talk about how good-looking and sexy Dixon was and that plaintiff was wasting his looks by not being free and having sex. Okay. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see something right quick. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up a picture of these two people by each other's side. Because Tyler Perry was on real demon time. He was perved out something crazy. He was really perved out something crazy. He was perved out something vicious. I ain't gonna lie to you, cuz was tripping. I'm making all this noise with my mouse trying to. Okay, give me a second. All right. So this is who we keep on telling him he's sexy and he thick and all that. Like, this is what he on. Oh damn, hold on. This is what fam is on right now. You know what I mean? Telling the white boy he's sexy and thick and all that. All right. You know what I mean? Nothing against white people. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying that, you know. Following this exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. Hold on, let me see. Hold up. I skipped something. Okay. After enduring the harassment and doing his best to dodge the situation, Mr. Dixon got up and the two exchanged goodbyes. As Dixon was leaving Perry's trailer, Perry got up and pinned Dixon against the wall. Perry began aggressively groping Dixon's buttocks in a sexual motion. Tyler Perry began reaching toward Dixon's buttocks and groped Dixon's butt in the strongest sex. Okay. Whoever wrote this was writing, like did ChatGPT do this or something? Because there's a lot of typos and rewrites of sentences and whole paragraphs rewritten twice and all this. Like, what y'all doing? Dixon stood frozen in horror and could not reciprocate or fight back. All Dixon could do was let his body go cold and limp. Seeing that Dixon had no desire in Perry, Perry told Dixon that he was drunk and asked Dixon to leave the trailer. As soon as Derek Dixon left the trailer following Perry's violent assault, Dixon became severely nauseous and extremely anxious about his job, career, and livelihood. Dixon felt trapped within the confines of the studio quarantine bubble. There was still another shoot the next day. Dixon called his friend Justin Bryan on the phone and told him everything that happened and was unaware of any HR representatives whom he could report the assault. The plaintiff had no one to turn to and nowhere to go to save him from Perry's aggressive sexual harassment and exploitation. I mean, you could have left. I'm not going to lie to you. You could have just quit that job. Like, you know what I mean? Not blaming the victim. I'm just saying. You did have somewhere to go. The next day, Perry acted like nothing happened, and this time he did not even offer Mr. Dixon an apology. Following the exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. However, Dixon still felt the need to answer Perry's incessant text messages, so he changed his approach. Dixon often pretended to be asleep or to avoid being harassed by Perry. However, Perry persisted by texting the following messages. Are you awake? Stop ignoring me. You are awake, Derek. Wake up. I know you're not sleeping. And give me attention. By the way, all of this is in 2020 and it's all in Georgia, right? Keep that in mind when I talk about jurisdiction and venue. All of this is in Georgia and all of it is 2020. In or around early October 2020, Perry invited Dixon and other actors from the Oval on a cash trip to Perry's personal island in the Bahamas. Dixon knew, as did everyone else on the show, that declining to go on the trip might cause Perry to erase you from the show. Dixon agreed to go, knowing that the whole cast was going to be there. One night, while in Perry's private island in the Bahamas, the cast was having a party. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon he wanted to talk to him. Dixon was caught off guard. Now, why were you caught off guard when this man has been sexually assaulting you for the last year? Okay. Perry made alcoholic drinks and forced Derek to drink with him. Dixon knew that he could not refuse the drinks, otherwise he would risk upsetting Mr. Perry. Instead, Dixon tried to stay in control and sip drinks slowly. Tyler Perry did not control himself. He drank it until it was clear that the alcohol made him bold and sexually aggressive. Perry told Dixon that he wanted a relationship with someone who could be emotionally and sexually available to him, but would also be permissive of Perry having his own relationship with someone else. Perry said he could see himself having that type of relationship with Dixon. Perry insisted that Dixon needed to be with someone rich because Dixon liked nice things. All right, I don't even need to read the rest of this. This is like more of all the same stuff. Y'all can see why I said there's a 0% chance that Derek Dixon does not get paid. 0% chance. He is 1,000% going to win whatever lawsuit in whatever jurisdiction. It's happening. There's no way around it. They're still going forward with it, and they're showing like even all the way up until like he did all of this stuff continued all into 2020, 2021, 2022, and he didn't move until 2023, right? Probably was fired by that time, right? So, wait. Oh, how did I not hear about this? Oh, okay, I remember this. In December 2023, Christian Keys, another actor who worked for Perry's prior to Dixon's employment, posted a video on social media platform detailing his abusive experience with an anonymous Black Hollywood billionaire. I do remember that. I forgot about that. I definitely forgot all about that. Dixon heard Mr. Keys' account and saw that Tyler Perry had been engaging in the same sexual conduct as other actors. Just like the interactions described by Keys, Perry would get drunk, climb into Dixon's bed, and start fondling Dixon's buttocks. Dixon wanted to share his experience with the media to prevent other actors from being abused at the hands of Perry. Around this time, Perry called Dixon, indicating that he really wanted to find a home for Dixon's television series, again perpetuating the quid pro quo whole thing. Okay. Dang. All right, y'all, I'm falling apart. It's time for me to really wrap this up because I'm falling apart. My reading ability has fallen apart. Right? So California has this thing called the Ralph Act. And let's see here. Let's look at the Ralph Act. Okay. The Ralph Act, and I'm reading it because it was cited in that lawsuit. The Ralph Act, enforced by the Department of Fair. So this is a Department of Fair Employment and Housing. The Ralph Act is a civil rights law that aims to protect people with special characteristics and their property from violence and intimidation by the threat of violence. Individuals who violate the Ralph Act are liable for having committed a hate crime. So essentially, right, this is setting the stage for Tyler Perry to be sued in civil court and then also possibly be charged in criminal court, right? Because as an employer, you cannot do certain things to people. especially forcing yourself on people, not even as an employer. Sexual assault is a crime no matter what. But the fact that it happened within the statute of limitations in California, Tyler Perry really could be cooked. Now, some of these assaults happened in Georgia, and they happen like Georgia doesn't have the same type of windows for sexual assault the way California does. So some of that stuff will not be protected or will not be prosecuted because it's too old. But this does set the stage for it because they cite the Ralph Act in that lawsuit. They also cite the Bain Act, right? Let's read what the Bain Act says. Upholding civil rights in California. The Tom Bain Civil Rights Act, commonly referred to as the Bain Act, is an essential piece of legislation that safeguards individuals from any interference with the Constitution, with their constitutional or statutory rights, whether on a federal or state level. This robust protection mechanism extends to all individuals and covers any potential violations committed by law enforcement officers. Scope of the Bain Act. The Bain Act scope extends beyond its federal counterparts like Section 1983 and Monell claims, as it incorporates rights protected under the California Constitution and California laws. This comprehensive coverage makes it a potent tool in the fight for civil rights in California. The essence of the Bain Act claim. A Bain Act claim revolves around the premise that a defendant, using threats, intimidation, or coercion, either attempted to prevent the plaintiff from exercising their legal rights, or forced the plaintiff into an action not required under the law. So, the Bain Act and the Ralph Act are things that could possibly I don't see him getting locked up because these didn't happen in California, but it's definitely a strong argument. He's definitely going to have to pay. Now, if Tyler Perry is not successful in getting this thing pulled out of California by fighting against the jurisdiction and venues part of this whole thing, and if Cali get it, I mean, he's probably gonna have to pay some like ridiculous sum that he never thought possible. He's probably gonna be one of the biggest sexual assault settlements that we've seen ever, probably. Right? It's gonna be one of the biggest. Now, there's so many comments, yo. All right, let's read the comments, then we're gonna get up out of here. All right. Vanderveer said Tyler Perry I'm going way back here. Vanderveer, Tyler Perry is a billionaire, shouldn't have any direct contact with employees, especially after several claims. Everything would be recorded and nobody would have direct number office on only. Z said, I'm with you, and the whole guest house thing hooked him. He needs to settle. Yep, Vanderveer said Tyler at Beyonce concert and right now is in businesses with the governor of Cali. That's why he's not responding to Tory or the DP lawsuit from their daughter. Benny said, hey, everyone, totally ignored y'all. So sorry. I didn't mean to. Was this all okay? It's all good. It's all good. Vanderveer, he shouldn't have settled. He should have settled before he hit the media like he did everybody else. Once he publicly settles, others will come forward. That's facts. Z said, it read like his role on The Oval. Have you ever watched it? I never watched I seen The Oval when it first came out. I seen the first few episodes when it first came out. It was too soap opera-y for me, though. I couldn't keep going. Grease said, Medea, no, he got to go to jail for that one alone. Vanderveer said, it's a terrible feeling when someone you don't like keep pressing you. If you don't get the F on, that's facts. I honestly believe some of the celebrities get victims by telling them childhood trauma, making it relatable, taking advantage and turning men out. That's facts. And they use drugs and alcohol a lot. Benny said, we are and to stay, Vanny. Yep. Benny, so what you been up to since you went away? This chat at least started up. Okay, yeah. Nah, I've been vibing. I've been chilling, man, working and doing the dad thing. Vanderveer said, a free new car? Absolutely not. I think I would have had a tracker on it. I would think it had a tracker on it and some strings attached. It definitely has some strings attached. What's going on, Roro? I knew they had him on the list when he got up there refusing A-Stone service. Oh, fussing at A-Stone service. He was acting like Medea at that service, got loud. Oh, hell no. Okay, Z said, let's be real. Everyone was already thinking he was like this. Lady Loves Life said it's called trade. Yeah. That's the word. I didn't realize the word, but yeah, that is the word. Trade is like supposedly like straight dudes, right? The gay dudes mess with the straight dudes and they call them trade. Vanderveer said modern day buck breaking on that army base. That's facts. The Oval was not canceled? Okay, I'm tripping. Vanderveer said, "All of this for money. What's meant for you will be for you. I think he did sexual acts." T Dub said, "Man, Tyler Perry always gave me those creepy crawler vibes, but I think Dixon led this thing on to get the lawsuit point." He probably did. After a while, yeah. Tyler gonna have to expose that. I believe it if you believe it real. Regular, yeah. I feel it was Dixon's agenda, yeah. It's a mother that came forward dragging Tyler, claiming that he was trying to do this to her younger son in 2020. Damn, I didn't even see that. Vanderveer, I didn't catch the biscuit line until you said it. Lucy said he is a writer. Roro said, sad. Lucy, I think he is actually talking about biscuits to food. He was talking about biscuits to food and blowjobs at the same time. Then he's even more of a criminal. Get him off the streets. He need to tell Diddy scoot over. Yeah, he need to tell Diddy to scoot over. He's most definitely talking about buns and blowjobs. That's what I thought. Biscuits and blowjobs, man. Cause it's crazy. Vanderveer, I have to rethink every text because somebody reading out loud hit different. I'd be so embarrassed. They need deliverance. Yeah, no, Tyler Perry is a deviant. He's a sexual deviant, a miscreant. They can build a SR in jail and all the celebrities. Oh, a sex ring jail. Yeah. T-Dub said, Tyler is too smart to be like that. I just feel like Dixon had an agenda and led it on. Oh, Dixon definitely left something out of this story. It's for sure something missing. The whole thing about it, though, is Tyler Perry has not come out and talked publicly about his homosexuality. So for him to expose whatever is missing, he would have to get into vivid detail about the things that Dixon was consenting to, right? So that's the whole twist with that. Like, is Tyler Perry ain't ready to really come out like that. He wasn't ready to come out, even though he has been in public with dudes. Clearly he ain't ready to talk about it himself yet. Vanderveer said if they go after Tyler, they will have to do a RICO like Diddy and R. Kelly. The problem with Tyler Perry is that, like, his was very localized because he wasn't, unless they say that he was moving people around, it was very localized to the people that was on whatever set that he was on, whatever actors he was working with. So he didn't have to transport anybody. It's not a federal cross the state lines type of thing.